Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the ghosts in my house. So, I do believe in the paranormal and spirits and stuff, and I've had a few what I feel like were experiences in my house. I personally believe in spirits and stuff, so if you don't have to watch this video. But yeah, so my great-grandfather passed away in my house. He used to live in my house, and then now I live here. And I've had a few experiences, at least that I felt were experiences. My mom's had some experiences, and I just want to tell you what happened. So I just want to let you know that I've never had any scary experiences. These experiences weren't really like a big deal. It's just something that I've seen. So I'm gonna start off with what my mom saw. Before I was born, my mom was in the kitchen making a meal and something bumped into her. She turned around and no one was there. And my dad was in the other room and so was their dog. And then another experience was when my mom and dad were sitting in the living room watching TV and the power went out and they found out that the little box in the basement, they're now called fuse boxes, but back then they didn't have fuse boxes. It was like a lever that you would pull, had been pulled, and no one was down there, so they think that it was my great-grandfather. And that's the only experiences my mom's ever had. So the experiences I've had, like I said, are not like very scary or major, but I feel like I have had experiences. So I don't exactly know what was the first experience I've had, but I can tell you that there's been times where I've been in my room and I just feel a chill go down my spine and suddenly I do not feel alone. And this even happened during the winter when I had my heater on and my room was hot and I still felt chills. I kept waking up to my shower door being open and toilet paper just randomly being in the toilet. And that is two major things that, well, not major, but things that kept happening. And so I went to everyone in my house, no one has said that they did that, so I was confused. And another thing I noticed is that sometimes when I'm in my room, I don't exactly feel like I'm alone. Like I feel like there's someone else in the room with me. And we had this time period where my grandmother was moving houses and she moved out of her house, but her other house was still in the process of figuring out where they were gonna build it. So she had to stay in my pool house for a while. They didn't end up building a house. She did move out, but basically one day my siblings had their activities. My parents took them to their activities, so she decided to take me out to dinner. And we get home and she goes to the pool house and I just come up into my room. I lay in my bed and I started watching YouTube when I heard movement downstairs. So I paused my YouTube video and listened, and I heard a little bit of movement, but it wasn't as bad as I did when I was listening to my YouTube video. So I unpaused it, kept watching it, and a few seconds later it happened again. And then I paused again, and what it sounded like was someone walking downstairs. And then my grandmother called me just to make sure everything was okay, and I told her what I heard, and she said that it was probably just like the furnace making weird noises. So I didn't think anything of it, and that just happened the rest of the night. However, another time when I came home with my grandmother, I was in my room alone, she was in the pool house again, and I heard what sounded like dishes being moved around downstairs. Keep in mind, when these instances happened in my room, I was the only one home. It was just me and my two dogs. And I know what my dogs sound like when they're moving, and this sounded like a person moving. But it sounded like someone was in my kitchen moving dishes around. So what I did is I wasn't that scared, but I felt like if there was someone in my house, like a spirit, I should be downstairs and aware. So what I did is I grabbed my phone, I turned on a song because I love music and it calms me, and it's also nice to have music playing so there's not complete silence. I went downstairs into my living room where my dog was. He was just laying on the couch, but he was looking into the hallway like there was something there, and I was walking through the hallway, and when I sat down, he kept looking in the hallway. He has his ears back, and his ears are normally not back that far. So once he noticed I was in the living room, he kind of relaxed, he laid back down, but then I noticed his ears were still back, and it looked like he heard something. So I googled what that meant, and it meant a dog is aware and listening for something, and I didn't feel like I was alone in that room. But I turned on the TV and eventually my parents did come home and everything was fine. Another instance happened in this room, in my room, and I was laying in bed and I didn't see anything, I didn't hear anything, but I just had this sudden feeling that I was not alone in my room. I felt like there was someone watching me, and I went to sleep and I still felt someone watching me. So I turned over so I'd be facing where I felt like someone was standing, and usually when I feel like there's someone in the room with me, it's just my mind messing with me, so when I like turn the other way, I feel like they're behind me then. this wasn't the same. Like I felt like they were still in that same place. Nothing happened that night. I just felt like there was someone watching me. Another instance happened when I thought I felt my bed shake slightly, and it like woke me up, and I don't think I jumped or anything in my sleep. I just felt my bed shaking slightly, and when I was like fully awake but kind of like still trying to go back to sleep, I felt it shake again, but this was like very slight movements, like, you know, when you like move a little bit in bed and it shakes, that's what I felt. So, but at this point, I don't know if I just woke myself up, but after that I did not move and it was still felt like it was shaking. So I switched my position again and it stopped. But what my family came over to my grandmother and grandpa's house, and I was talking with my second cousin, and I told her where I've had dreams where I was with my great grandfather, but he was like doing stuff for me, and he wasn't a person, like he was still a spirit in my dream. I had two dreams. One was he was near my car with me. I asked him to lock my car and he locked my car for me. Another one was I was in like a storage closet and I asked him to get me a bin or like some item, and he gave it to me. The thing was, it was floating because he was a spirit. And that's when my second cousin told me that even though I was asleep in bed, that was my energy with his. So what I think was, we could have been out in the front yard and I was in my car, but my dream made it look different, and same with the closet. Again, I'm not 100% sure if this was him, but this is what I feel like. Another thing that happened was I was feeding my guinea pigs. I have two guinea pigs. One of my guinea pigs has blonde fur, the other one has brown fur. The one with blonde fur, his name is Newt, and the one with brown fur, his name is Hershey. And I was feeding them like little pumpkin seeds. Hershey was eating, and Newt all of a sudden looked up and like looked like he was looking at something, and he looked over at my door. My door was open and I was the only one in my room, and so he looked at the door for a second and then immediately ran and hid. And I looked at the door and there was nothing there. So I was like, "You okay, buddy? What's wrong?" And he wouldn't come out from his hiding spot. And even if they're under there and I go over to the cage, they always come out to see me. So Hershey didn't notice. He was eating the pumpkin seeds I was giving him. But that's the only instance I've had with my guinea pigs. So this didn't happen at my house. It actually happened at my grandparents' house, and my great uncle had passed away and I was at their house, and my mom came into my room to tell me that she got tickets for me to go see a singer, and I ran into the other room to FaceTime my friend who was supposed to go with me, and I told him that we got the tickets, and suddenly I felt a chill run down my spine, and he was still on FaceTime at this point, and I stood up and I walked over near where my brother was, and I didn't feel cold anymore. And so then I pulled out this ghost detecting app and pointed it to where I was, and it showed something was there. I don't know if this was a coincidence or not. If it was a coincidence, it was crazy because I've tried using that thing at my house and nothing showed up. But the fact that it showed up and almost immediately was crazy. Also, keep in mind that I don't always experience stuff in my house, so sometimes I feel like my great-grandfather comes to visit, but I don't feel like he's here all the time. Another thing I experienced was I was in my bathroom and I was brushing my teeth, and everyone was sleeping, and I felt a breeze just coming on my arm. And I know the window was closed and the furnace might have been on, but where I felt the breeze did not seem like it's where the furnace would be blowing. But I was brushing my teeth, looking in the mirror, and I felt just a breeze go across my arm, and then the breeze went away. I just was like, what the heck? And I was like kind of looking around seeing what was there, and I was confused. So that was creepy. It didn't happen after that, but like I felt like there was someone in there with me. And another experience I've had was actually recently. I pulled up Snapchat and I had the dog filter on me, and then I turned the camera around and I have American Girl dolls in my room, and currently they just sitting in little cubbies, and I'm gonna use them for photography once I get the chance. But the weird thing was that where the face showed up was kind of like out of the cubby in the middle of the dolls. Like I thought, oh, it's seeing the dolls, but then I'm like, but it's not on their face. And at first I thought it was a glitch. Tried it around my room and it didn't show up again. And it didn't show up again. So I don't know what that was, but I also tried it with another filter and it did the same thing. So yeah, I haven't exactly had a whole lot of experiences, and they're not like telling me for sure that there's a ghost in this house, but that is what I've seen. Also, if it is a ghost, obviously it's a ghost, so I'm gonna be scared if I see it, but I know that it's my great-grandfather and he's not gonna hurt me, he's just protecting me. So that's it for today's video. I know it was kind of random and short, but I thought about all this happening and I decided to tell you guys. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to click the like button, comment down below video ideas you have for me, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!